Hey, this is Russ. I'm back out on the road once again. This is actually my second time out today. It's gonna rain. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. But the weather is about 53 degrees right now. It was worse when I went out earlier. It was around 50 degrees. Yeah, 3 degrees doesn't sound like much, but every degree counts when you're dealing with cold weather. Let's move here. So I went back in, offloaded my footage from offloaded my footage from the first recording. Yeah, we don't use film anymore, so it's not footage. Offloaded the digital data. And then warmed up a little bit and took out this bike. So what bike am I on? What do you think? What does it look like to you? Yeah, I gotta tighten this one up a little bit. It seems to be a little loose. Yep, I'm on the Magicycle Commuter bike. Yeah, we gotta tighten that up. Let's do that. I'm gonna pull off here. Show you what the bike looks like too while we're at it. Yeah, here's what the bike looks like now. Yeah, it's a good looking bike. I actually really like this bike. People are actually surprised that I really like it so much. But I actually do. Here's where I put the water bottle. I put another zip tie right here because I found that because this is on an angle, the bottle tends to flop over. So I put like a little lanyard twist tie here. Sorry about the camera movement. That way it can't go down any further. Then I added this. This little bag was given to us by Magicycle when I didn't buy, when they gave me the Magicycle Commuter cruiser bike. I can't talk today. And let me tighten this up a little bit. That way it won't bounce around so much on me. So I keep one of these multi-tools, a whole bunch of hex drivers. I put that in here. This is actually designed for your cell phone. It's like a cell phone holder thing. But I needed something to put in this little triangle area so I can carry some tools. So I have a spare inner tube, the multi-tool. I have some tire levers there to help remove the tire and remove the inner tube. So I have a story to tell you about the commuter bike, which you might find interesting. Now, you know the commuter bike, it's a little bit of difference in the typical bikes I have here. It is a traditional styled bike. It has a 27-inch wheel with a 1.25-inch wide tire. Now consider all the fat tire bikes I have that are 4-inch fat tires. 1.25 inches doesn't sound like a whole lot, and it isn't. But it has very little rolling resistance because of that, and that's why I'm able to ride this bike. I've ridden this bike with no pedal assist. I can't do that on all the other bikes. I have a real hard time even moving those heavy bikes. This bike's only 47 pounds. You know, when people ask me about sub 50-pound e-bikes, here you go. Magicycle Commuter bike, 47 pounds. Now, it achieves that a couple different ways. It doesn't have a really big heavy motor. It's got a 350 watt motor in here. And the battery is a 52 volt, I think it's like 7.5 amp hour. Now you look at that and you go, wow, that doesn't have anything in terms of battery. You don't need a really big battery on this bike when the motor is only 350 watts. Well, it doesn't have any power. You can't go. Oh yeah, I still do 20 miles an hour on this bike. It's a single speed bike. It has no gears. There's no derailleur on here. In fact, there's not even a chain on here. It's a belt driven bike. That's why it's so quiet. So very little rolling resistance, makes you move real easy. One gear, meaning no gears. Belt drive, no chain, it's just a belt. Yeah, it moves fast. Drawbacks? Well, hard to get started with a single speed. You know, if you're trying to go up a hill and you're stopped from a dead stop, you'd have a hard time getting up that hill. If you're already rolling, no problem. But if you're dead stopped and trying to go up an incline, you'd have a hard time. You don't have lower gears. Now, there is pedal assist. Over on this side, you got 5 levels of pedal assist. Right now I'm sitting on pedal assist level 3. I found that most of the time I was actually on pedal assist 1 and 2. And what did I get? 22 miles, I think I got on this battery when I was pedal assist level 2. Today I'm on 3. So obviously I'm going to get less than 22 miles of assist, or less than 22 miles of range based on the higher assist level. It's okay, I'm just trying to lower the battery a little bit for the winter months. But I figured today was a good day to do this particular bike because I'm looking at the weather of future days for me to start depleting the battery on all of my bikes. Because this is, this is a single speed bike, and it is a class 1 bike, meaning you can go up to 20 miles per hour with the motor assisting or pedal on your own. But there's no throttle on this thing. So if you don't pedal, you don't move. This is like a traditional bike with a motor on it. So this is the reason I like this bike so much. I mean, so many people have said, I'm shocked that you actually like this bike considering all the different bikes that you have. Why do you like this one so much? Because it's the most simplistic bike. I feel like I'm on a regular bike that has no assist of anything. But I know the motor's there helping me. Right? I'm doing 20 miles an hour right now. All right, the path is supposed to be 15, but there's nobody here. It's too cold. Nobody wants to be out on this path. So, yeah, I see it as like the best I can do for riding a traditional bike. Yeah, and it feels like it too. It's such a small frame. The tires are so thin. I mean, they remind me of the tires that I had when I had my old 10-speed bike when I was a kid. Yeah. I think those are 27-inch, 1 1/4-inch tires. So I don't feel bad about having this. Now, if this was my only e-bike, would I be happy with it? Probably not. Probably not, realistically. You know me. I like going fast. I like the ability to go distance. I can't go distance on this bike. I can't add a second battery to it. Well, not easily. Everything's internally routed inside the down tube. Yeah, you can't access the battery, can't access the controller that easily to make that kind of modification. I guess you could if I went through the front. That's where all the wires and everything goes through there. I could do it, but it would look terrible if I did that. So no, I'm not going to do it. So if this was my only e-bike, would I be happy? No, I don't think so. This is my secondary e-bike. If I only had 2 e-bikes, I would pick the one that I thought would best suit what I normally would do, and then I would get this one as my secondary bike. Yeah, that shocks a lot of people, that I wouldn't pick one of the other bikes as my second bike. It would be this one. This one. Can you believe it? Because if the other bike did everything I wanted it to do anyway, I'd probably be riding that bike most of the time. This would be the bike that I would take out for fun, just to ride a bike. You know, people see me on this bike, they probably laugh because they see this really big guy on these really thin tires riding a regular bike. But it's not a regular bike, it's an e-bike. They don't know it. If they don't see this little this little display screen, and they didn't see all the little extra wires I have in the front, which is very minimal in the first place, they would never know this is an e-bike. It literally looks like a regular bike. You don't see a big motor, hub motor in the back. There's a motor there, but it's rather small. You can't really tell. You're going by them so fast they can't tell. So yeah, that's why I really like this bike. I think I surprised Magicycle too. I think they were surprised when I told them I really like this bike. I had my doubts about this bike before it came in. I said that before. They even had their doubts that I would like this bike because they know me. They said, this guy's not going to like this bike. And then I turn around and say, I really like your bike. I really like it. I think it shocked them. Now it's got traditional mechanical disc brakes. Doesn't matter. This bike's not that heavy. It's easy to stop. It works pretty good too, these disc brakes. They don't really squeak. Overall, I'm very satisfied with it. I would say this would be my number 2 choice for a bike. If I have to drop down all the bikes, I'd get one bike that I thought was the best bike I can do on an e-bike. Then I'd get this one as my backup bike because it's just fun. It really is. It's just fun. Hey, if you got some extra money, none of us really do, but if you do, consider one of these things. I think you'd really like it. Yeah, you got to put some effort. You got to pedal. If you don't pedal, you don't go anywhere. But again, I like it because it's forcing me to pedal. You know, my other bikes, they have throttles. Yeah, well, then I tend to rely on the throttle. But when you don't have a throttle, you got no choice. You have to pedal. You don't pedal, you don't move. It's true, but I'm not pedaling hard. Once I get to a certain cadence, it's got a cadence sensor here, which means I don't have to pedal real hard. As long as I keep it moving, the motor is moving me along. So, yeah, you will ghost pedal a little bit once you get closer to 20 miles per hour. Just like many other bikes, you don't have any gears to combat that ghost pedaling. But you know, for me, my goal with bikes is really just to keep my knees moving, really, because of my knee replacement. It wasn't for me to push hard and really strain my knee. It was just to kind of keep it going. That's exactly what this thing is doing right now. It's just keeping it going. I just kind of move my legs along. I don't have to move hard. If you watch, I don't know if you can see it, but if you see my knees moving, barely moving. And yet I'm doing 18 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm still sniffling. It's too cold. I'm going to sniffle throughout the rest of the season, so get used to it. Yeah, it's kind of cold. But hey, here's what I did. I put on a long sleeve underneath my sweatshirt as well. So I have a regular shirt on, my typical black polo shirts or whatever you want to call them. I have underneath that, I have that black long sleeve UV rated shirt that I had that my daughter and son-in-law gave me. I have that on. It helps cut the wind down because my arms were getting cold earlier. Then I have this hooded sweatshirt on. Yeah, I ran over something. Then I got a beanie cap underneath my helmet. That really helps a lot. And then I got the helmet on and long pants on. So, let's turn here. So yeah, overall, it's keeping me warmer than it was earlier. Earlier it was like only 50 degrees. It's just 3 degrees higher, but the 3 degrees plus all the stuff that I'm wearing along with it is making a difference. Let me tell you something about this Commuter bike though, okay? And the reason you haven't seen me out on it for a while is because, the front tire kept going flat. Yeah, it did. And it didn't have a flat. No, it didn't. I took the inner tube out. It still held air when it was deflated. In other words, if it wasn't fully pumped up in the tire, it still held air. which tells me probably a bad valve. When the valve was under pressure, it couldn't hold it and it would leak out all the air. These are Presta valves, not Schrader valves. Schrader valves are the type of valves that we have on our cars. Let's turn left here. And on most of our regular bicycle tires, they have Schrader valves. But these Presta valves are smaller, well, I should say thinner. They have a little thing that you have to twist to unlock. And then you got to use an adapter if you want to use a Schrader valve styled air pump, which is what I have. And I put these adapters on and permanently left it there. And I think it was just draining the air out of it that way. So I took the adapters off, just left it as regular Presta valves. It still started having problems. So both tires actually drained when I had the adapters on there. So when I took the adapters off, the Presta to Schrader valve adapters off, the rear tire held fine. You know, when you lock it down as you normally do for Presta valves, it held fine. But the front one wouldn't. The front one kept just draining air. So I ordered another inner tube. It actually came two for $18 or something like that on Amazon. It's not like $9 a tube. It's not that expensive. So I ordered another tube. Okay, I think this guy's letting me go. And since changing it out, it's fine. So it's just an inner tube that didn't have the ability to hold the air when it was under pressure. So until the inner tube was able to come in, I couldn't ride the bike. So now I carry on that little bag that's given to us from Magicycle. That bag's actually a cell phone holder bag. You know, they usually put it up in the top tube and then cell phone fits there. I put the extra inner tube in there. I keep the multi-tool in there. I keep tire levers in there. I'll probably get a patch kit as well. Tire patch kit. I have it on another bike, but I don't have one here in this one. I got to get a couple of those things. It's just basically rubber with some cement. I think it's got like sandpaper so you can scratch down the thing. All right, too many cars over there. I'm gonna have to turn. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you have to wave to the police. They wave back all the time. So anyway, that's the reason why you haven't seen me on this bike. Otherwise, you probably would have seen me more on this bike if it wasn't for the inner tube problem. So technically it's a flat, but it wasn't a flat. I mean, that tube is holding air with low pressure, but not high pressure. Can't handle it. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun to ride this bike. It really is. It's the one bike I can say doesn't look like an e-bike. Doesn't act like one, doesn't look like one. Well, I'll tell you, during the fall, the wind does blow up quite a bit. I can feel it pushing me all the time. I don't like the side-to-side pushing. I feel like unstable when that happens. But yeah, it is the way it is. I still have a number of other bikes to have to lower the air pressure, or the air. I'm talking about the air. Lower the battery level to about 70%. So yeah, I suggest you do that too. If you're done with the season, lower it down to about 70%. Not a good idea to leave it at 100% when you're not riding the bike for months upon end. So So the bike was changed over from last time I was riding. You remember I did a video about changing the stem here. This is a angle adjustable stem, but because of the two, it raises it. If I pull it closer to me, it raises the height of the stem that way too. I think I gained like 3.5 inches by doing that. That's made a big difference in riding this bike. I don't have to lean forward on the handlebar as much anymore. I mean, I have a very slight amount of lean that I have to do, but it's very subtle amount. I have the front headlight on. It's a very small headlight. I forgot to turn on the rear headlight. Let me turn on my Ex-Nito helmet. At least I can have that blinking if I don't have the other one blinking in the back. They don't supply you with a wired rear tail light. They give you a battery-powered blinking one that you can push a button, then it'll start blinking, or it could be solid too. But again, you'd have to charge it when the battery goes down on it. Yeah, so for those people who say Russ never pedals, well, here you go. I'm pedaling. Yeah, I know how to pedal. It's not like I don't know how to do it. I just don't like to do it. If I got a throttle, I tend to use it. Plus, when I'm talking, I don't like thinking about the pedaling and where I'm going and what I'm saying and all that stuff. It's a little bit harder. So whenever I take this bike out, it's a little bit harder for me to think about what I'm going to do and where I'm going. Plus, pedaling those heavier bikes, even though you have a motor assisting you, it's not the same feel as this. This thing feels like there's nothing. I mean, I feel like I'm on a bike that has no weight, really. I mean, it's got weight, but it doesn't feel like it. Also, this is one of those bikes that you probably want to do a rolling stop. You see how slow it is for me to get moving because I don't have a throttle to push me forward. I have to pedal it up to get there. Plus, I don't have lower gears to help that pedaling along. I have only one gear essentially on that belt system. So yeah, I find that really unless you need to move quicker, faster, pedal assist level 3 is plenty on this thing. More often than not, all you need is 1 or 2. I think going to 4 or 5 would just be eating up my battery that I don't really need to have to do, but so last time I took this bike out, and on the video that I was doing the thing about the stem, I was noticing that my range was dropping more than it did that first time, and I was first thinking that, is it because PAS 3 was just eating up my battery? No, you know what it was? Not enough air in the tire. It was too much rolling resistance going on. When I went and checked it out before finishing off that video, I found that the tires only had like 30 to 35 pounds of pressure. Typically this thing should be around 50 or higher, even 50 to 60. I put in 50 when I did the test where I got 22 miles out of it. So being down to like 30 pounds of pressure, 30 to 35 pounds of pressure, the rolling resistance was eating up the battery. So that's the thing that wasn't giving me range. I would like to see what the range on this would be at PAS 3, but I don't think I'll have the opportunity to do that this year. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to ride this for 20 miles or so. Having to pedal the entire thing with cold weather hitting me up, I think I'd rather not. We'll find out next year, because I'm keeping this bike through the winter, of course. So I don't plan to. See, now that the cars should just go, because by them not, it forces me to move quicker, where I can't actually do a full stop then. So yeah. it's too cold. I don't want to do like 20 something miles and have to pedal the whole thing while it's that cold. Kids are coming out of this school. That's why the police are out. Make sure kids are safe when they come out of here. Kids are petting the dog. Yeah, it's always a good day. It's always a good day. No, in general, I think riding these side streets is not difficult to do. Somebody commented it seems like there's never ever any cars when you're on those streets. Yeah, I'm kind of on the side streets. I'm on the residential side streets, and during the day people are working, so there's not going to be a whole lot of cars on the streets with me. This is why I prefer to try to find streets like this to ride rather than major roads where cars are whipping past you at 40 miles an hour. I try my best to stay off of those. Sometimes you can't. I mean, if you're going someplace and you have to get there, sometimes that's the only way to get there. So at that point, then yeah, you have to ride those big streets. But otherwise, look for streets like this. Even if it takes you a little bit further out of your way, it's just safer. So all right, I think I'll let you guys go. Yeah, these videos are getting a little bit shorter now because yeah, I can't stay out here that long. I can only do like half hour, 45 minutes at a crack, and then that's about it. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're interested in one of these bikes or anything else, take a look at the affiliate links that are in the description of all my videos. Use those links. That's how it helps me out at my channel. And if there's any type of coupon codes there, use that. That helps you out. I'll talk to you guys next time.